Because I'm tired of black people using the race card all the time and then be also white people, you need to step up. Stop self-deprecating because of your ancestors' sins. Stop apologizing for something that you didn't do.
Who do you think you are to try to talk to a black person about their struggles and about what our ancestors went through? You are in no position at all to try to judge black people because of the struggles that we deal with. What you need to do is educate yourself about the black struggle so that you can learn why we have such a hard time in this country.
Dear white people, no one is asking you to apologize for your ancestors. We're asking you to dismantle the systems of oppression they built that you maintain and benefit from. Now the question becomes, do you understand how you maintain and benefit from these systems of oppression? This reminds me of a meme I used to love. It said that particular people do not want to be blamed for their ancestors' actions, but they sure as hell don't want to let go what their ancestors left for them. If you inherit a business and you believe the profits is the only thing you taking on and you ain't taking on none of the debt, it's kind of crazy. Do you understand how trust and distribution of wealth and how we pass things from generation to generation? I don't understand why this concept is so hard to grasp. In closing though, nobody blaming you for nothing. We just think it's your responsibility to help us deconstruct the systems that you maintain and benefit from. Amen. Education is elevation.
Slavery. San Francisco, they're looking to pay reparations for black people. Should Americans pay for reparations?
Why is it just for black people?
I think it's to right the wrongs of previous injustices such as slavery.
Is it a trial or a study?
No, I think it's just a bill that's being proposed.
Oh, okay. There's other things in the world and in San Francisco that need to be addressed.
I'm tired of black people using the race card all the time and then be like, yeah, your ancestors.
Dude, shut the fuck up. Shut up. Stop trying to be a pick-me girl. You sound so stupid. What was it about that video that made you feel so It wasn't even about you. That video had nothing to do about the Asian community at all, and you felt the need to insert yourself in for why. Your opinions don't matter, okay? And on top, I don't understand why we can't just get along. I don't understand why you felt the need to say some shit. Listen, the sooner you start realizing that we're all very similar, the more you will understand that we are all allies for a reason.
Hello lovelies, welcome back to today's episode. When you try to hear some people saying that some Asian people, they have this anti-blackness in them, this is the result of this Asian American woman. How come you are coming out to address the black people? They always use the race cards as excuses, and you are trying to give advice to white people to stop apologizing to black people because you have never done anything to them. Guys, a lot of people came to talk about this. Let's get to hear them. Drop your thought in the comment section. Then you come back with more commentaries.
The Asian community is literally so anti-black, and it literally fucking pisses me off. We are literally so uneducated, uninformed, just misinformed, everything about the black community, and it pisses me off. And it just boggles my mind how a lot of Asians see black people as beneath them. I shit you not, I literally saw someone on my story and I literally was so gagged. I was like, are you serious right now? And I sent him a message, ask him if he's being serious about this. This guy is Bhutanese. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing it, but I guess he got some kind of spray tan or whatever because he's doing some kind of stupid movie shoot or whatever. Roy posts on his story and says, because his skin is 10 shades darker or something, he said, can I say the N-word now? With a ninja emoji next to it. I slid up so fucking quick and I asked this man, are you fucking serious right now? And guess what? That man left me on red. Need I say again that he is not black? He is Bhutanese from Bhutan or whatever the fuck you pronounce it. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing it. Quite honestly, the Asian community is literally so underhandedly racist to the black community, and it just not to mention the black community is one of the most supportive of marginalized groups that has ever uplifted the Asian community and actually put effort into supporting us. I'm probably gonna piss a lot of Asians off for saying that, but it's literally the truth and I fucking see it for what it is.
Let me be clear that the only reason why the system of whiteness allows Asian Americans the benefits of white supremacy is because it is beneficial to the system of whiteness. It's called racial mascotting. You can get a demographic that was once heavily oppressed in the United States to say that racism doesn't exist. It makes other minorities look bad. Partially, I think that Asian Americans who hold this view know that their ties to white supremacy are incredibly fragile. It is again beneficial to keep Asian Americans on the side of the oppressor. Meanwhile, Black people have gotten nothing like that. We never got reparations, and any time it's ever been brought up, it's been immediately shot down. You have to understand that just because you are no longer oppressed doesn't mean every other minority has that privilege. Let me be clear that whenever Asian Americans are no longer beneficial to the upholding of white supremacy, they will drop you too.
Tired of Black people using the race card all the time and then be like, yeah, your ancestors enslaved mine.
As an Asian person, you cannot make an opinion on the Black community and expect it to be respected. If you are not part of the community, don't talk about it. Just echo the voices or don't. That's it. Just because you're part of a marginalized community does not mean you can also talk over other marginalized communities. When you boggle down someone's entire position to them using the race card, you are just upholding the values of white supremacy. You're doing that. You're suggesting that race isn't a factor into how society treats people, denying systemic racism.
First of all, you don't know anything about the struggle of Black people to even have any comments on it. You want to say that Black people use the race card all the time? It's because racism is still an issue in this country. And let me tell you something. You being Asian, there's racism against your race too. You're not so above Black people that racism does not affect you. As a matter of fact, who do you think you are to try to talk to a Black person about their struggles and about what our ancestors went through? You are in no position at all to try to judge Black people because of the struggles that we deal with. What you need to do is educate yourself about the Black struggle so that you can learn why we have such a hard time in this country. Educate yourself about racism. Educate yourself about the history behind why we are going through so much as a people. You don't have a right to judge. And not only that, when your ancestors went through the things that they went through during World War II, guess what? The government paid y'all. As a matter of fact, you got reparations twice. Because you got reparations for when we rebuilt your country. See, Japan, the United States rebuilt Japan. After they bombed Japan, we rebuilt Japan. Okay? And those people received reparations from our country. Then, some of your ancestors who were in concentration camps here in the United States, who were Asian, they also got reparations. Their offspring got reparations. Black people are the only race of people in this country who have never gotten reparations for the enslavement that we went through, and we was enslaved for 500 years. So no, ma'am, we don't need to get over it. What you need to do is stop being ignorant and educate yourself before you try to talk about us. Because you don't know anything about our struggle. You will never know what it's like to be Black in this country and deal with the racism that we have to deal with. Educate yourself so you won't be looking so ignorant like you do right now. Okay? God bless you, and I love you with the love of the Lord.
Tired of Black people using the race card all.
I just want to say that obviously not every single Asian agrees with her or thinks that way. And I think stuff like this sets communities back. So here are some quick reminders that will set things into perspective. Black people did not drop nuclear bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Black people did not drop Agent Orange in Vietnam. Black people did not put Asian people in concentration camps. Black people did not sign off on the Chinese Exclusion Act. As a minority in America, I'm very thankful for the Black community for their sacrifices they have made for pushing the civil rights for minorities. I am not an expert in politics or social policies. I'm just a tech bro software engineer, but I do think that this is a prime example of why education on minority issues such as slavery and systemic racism should be taught more in depth in classes. I think another problem is that education around American slavery and its impacts isn't really taught around the world. So I just want to emphasize one more time that education around minority issues needs a revamp, not just in the United States, but also around the world. Because the current education around this stuff is evidently not working, because there's people in power who believe that slavery benefited black people, which is insane.
Nothing in that woman video had anything to do with you or the Asian community. You want to know something funny? Every Asian person I know will tell you that Asian people are some of the most racist people you'll ever meet in your life because y'all are racist to each other. Why are you worried about what some black girl is saying about white people? It ain't got nothing to do with you. Mind your own business. And everything is like deeper than what y'all thinking. It amazes me that everybody just don't understand. We didn't even gave y'all a whole analogy. The analogy is black people feel about slavery how white people feel about 9/11.
And I'm tired of seeing the same people who benefited from our fight for civil rights using those freedoms to pursue white validation. But I'm going to focus on something else here, y'all. Instead of me reading her the way that I normally would, I'm going to break her down for y'all and give you a lesson in White Adjacency 101 because she's a prime example. So first and foremost, keep in mind that this is an Asian woman and don't think she didn't factor that in when she said what she said. She knows that we can't push back and say that she doesn't know marginalization or she doesn't know what it's like to be mistreated by white people because historically speaking, the Asian community does. But she's allowing herself to be a spokesperson, if you will, for white supremacy because that allows her to maintain her position within it, which is white adjacency, because there's power there. But the reason she can disconnect herself from her history in a way that we can't is because her present looks very different. Black people are still actively fighting the same history, which is why we have to keep it in the forefront of our minds. We can't allow ourselves to stop being diligent because history is constantly trying to repeat itself. But in her community, things have advanced to a place where she can feel audacious, clearly. If you think about it, that's probably true because when there's an influx of crime in the Asian community, what did we do? Stop Asian hate bill immediately. And I'm not saying that that shouldn't have happened. It should. But we don't see that type of quick action when it's black people. So she's coming from a place of privilege, again, which stems from her white adjacency. And honestly, y'all, if you're paying attention, what she's doing is trying to conflate name calling with actual racism. Racism in this country is systemic, systems of oppression. They were built specifically to marginalize black people and then included people like her. She's talking about that in comparison to name calling white people. And don't think that she really cares about white people's feelings because she doesn't. She's saying this to secure her position within white supremacy because she's learned from her pale skin that there's power in being white adjacent. That's what she's protecting. And she's also highlighting her disregard for anybody else's experiences and also her lack of empathy, which again, I believe stems from white supremacy. She has this sense of entitlement about her that makes her feel validated in trying to reprimand or chastise us in our behavior. She thinks that we should play nice with our oppressor because the oppressors are no longer oppressing her the way that they used to, even though they're still treating us the same way. And if you notice, because there's a lot of layers here, she still has no empathy as far as how we're treated in the past or in the present. If you think about somebody and their traumas, right? You know that, let's say that somebody has a fear of dogs because they've been mauled by a dog. We expect them to be scared of dogs, to hate dogs, to not want to be around them. We don't get that same grace extended to us, even though we've had some of the worst atrocities committed against us by white people. Yet she sits here conflating feelings with systems. All we can do is hurt white people's feelings, but they can weaponize their feelings against us and use the systems created to hurt us. They can call the police, weaponize their tears and get us killed, get us fired. There's differences here. And that's what she's not saying. So y'all start paying attention to what's not being said because that's usually what speaks the most volumes.
Done with you Asians who think having a race war with the black community is in our favor. No, it fucking is not. And y'all always want to bring up black people attacking Asians during the post-COVID era, which has happened a few times, but guess what, bitch? There are gonna be bad people in every race. Remember, anti-Asianness is always rooted in white supremacy, but a person of any race can be influenced by white supremacy. So those black people that attacked us were subscribing to the white supremacist narrative that Asians caused COVID. And if you blame black people as a whole for the anti-Asian hate crimes, you're subscribing to the white supremacist narrative that black people are inherently aggressive. And y'all Asians who are like, why aren't black people standing with us? Bitch, be grateful because they've always stood with us. Frederick Douglass in 1882 made the time to openly denounce the Chinese Exclusion Act while the black community was going through so much, such as rampant lynchings against them. They worked hand in hand with us to free the Japanese people in the internment camps in 1942. And we directly benefited from black-led civil rights movements every single time. So stop blaming and demanding things from them and unlearn your anti-blackness first.
This couldn't be farther from the truth. In fact, our greatest allies have been the Black community. Black and Asian solidarity has a long, long history. And that's not to erase the examples from both sides of intolerance, hate, and violence. But at our best, we have long fought alongside each other, such as Frederick Douglass advocating for Chinese and Japanese immigration in 1869. Or when Henry Turner and I.D.B. Wells spoke out on behalf of Filipino freedom fighters. Malcolm X, Muhammad Ali, Martin Luther King, and many Black protesters condemning the violence and war in Vietnam. Japanese Americans fighting alongside the Black community to repeal the Emergency Detention Act. The powerful relationship between Yuri Kochiyama and Malcolm X. Grace Lee Boggs and her husband James Boggs. Jesse Jackson, the NAACP for Vincent Chin. And the majority of Asian Americans who support the Black Lives Matter movement.
Stop apologizing for something that you didn't do.
In Get Out, the Asian character aligns himself with whiteness.
In Do the Right Thing, the Asian character aligns himself against whiteness, so much that he claims blackness, but only when it was convenient for him to save himself.
Are Asian people next in line to be white? Whiteness isn't just about skin color. Whiteness is actually inscribed into the law itself. And we could see how Asian Americans have attempted to claim legal whiteness and were then shown their place in America's racial hierarchy.
1922. Takao Ozawa was born in Japan and lived in the US for 20 years. He applied for naturalization.
Instead of challenging the constitutionality of these racial restrictions, Ozawa claimed the Japanese people, because they were so light-skinned, should be considered free white persons. The Supreme Court unanimously ruled against Ozawa, stating that the words white person only referred to those of the Caucasian race.
Whiteness as a concept continued to evolve.
And this is how the law acknowledged that race is a social construct. Whiteness emerged as an ideology and a legal framework to ensure that a certain group of people held power over others.
This time in the Mississippi Delta during the age of racial segregation.
1927, Gong Lum, a Chinese-American grocery store owner in the South, sues his local white public school for kicking out his daughter, Martha Lum, for being colored. Instead of claiming that segregated schools are inherently unequal, the Lum family tries to claim that Martha Lum was not colored.
The court unanimously ruled against the Lum family, stating that segregated education was to be divided between the pure white or Caucasian race and colored people, which explicitly meant the brown, yellow, and black races.
And because Martha Lum was supposedly part of the Mongolian or yellow race, she could not be enrolled in white schools.
No matter how light-skinned, how financially successful, how model of a minority Asian people may be, they will never be considered white.
Claiming whiteness will never work as a response to racial injustice, because whiteness and white supremacy is actually about producing and maintaining inequality. Resorting to anti-blackness will not only hinder justice for Asian Americans, but all communities who are perceived as not white. When I hear the phrase, Asians are next in line to be white, I replace the word white with disappear. Asians are next in line to disappear.
We are reputed to be so accomplished and so law-abiding, we will disappear into this country's amnesiac fog.
We will not be the power, but become absorbed by power. Not share the power of whites, but be stooges to a white ideology that exploited our ancestors.
I'm tired of seeing how we're portrayed in the media. I'm tired of looking at our history, and you know, the first thing they tell us about black people is your history started in slavery. You were nothing before that. And I'm not saying all black people were kings or queens and nothing like that, because we had to have kings. The kings and queens in Africa had to have somebody to rule over. So we weren't all kings and queens, but we weren't all criminals either. We weren't all deadbeats, lowlives, savages, or whatever you want to call us either. And I commented on that video saying that I have an idea about why we are portrayed so negatively or why we're viewed so negatively. And the idea is, I think that at some point in history, black people as a collective, or at least maybe, how can I say, a subgroup of black people had done something to the world at large that made everybody hate us for real. I don't know what it is, but I feel like that's the only thing that I can think of. We did something that was so grievous that everybody was like, I fucking hate y'all for real. And I feel like it was probably hubris, because I look at the way we are now and in the communities that I've been in, we do kind of have this air of superiority and kind of like a bully type of mentality. Now, I can't tell if that's because of our history, as in the way we were treated throughout history, or if we were, or like I said, at some point in maybe prehistory, when we were in Egypt, maybe we did something that was just so outlandish, so crazy. Like, I don't know, like, so crazy, because every race has that subgroup in their race that has done something crazy. Asians have the Japanese who did something crazy. White people have Germans that did something crazy, right? So some subgroup of black people must have did something so crazy, everybody was like, yo, I fucking hate y'all for real. And that's why I think
this Asian woman make a lot of people talk about this anti-blackness in Asian people, which is something a lot of people kept talking about for decades. There is no any way in this century you are coming to address black people that you are tired. You are tired of them. If you are saying you are tired of black people using cards, red cards as excuses, is it your history? Can't you at least go and try to learn more about black history if you don't have enough knowledge about it? Can't you at least go in Asian community, try to mend your issues? Because even in Asian people, you have these things of racism among you, and you are coming on internet looking like you are a spokesperson to Asian people. Sometimes when you try to see these Asian people, after they are alive in America, they started to have this good life. They are enjoying doing business, going to school. They couldn't even understand the reason why they are there. If it was not for black Americans, their fight during the civil rights movement, their sweat, they lose life for decades to make this America you are seeing now. This migrant, all of you are getting freedom of speech, you are doing your business, you are free because of this black people's sweat. And yet you have the audacity to come out to say you are tired of black people? Are you sure you even know what the black people pass through? It looks like you don't have enough knowledge. No wonder even Asian people came after you, because in this century, people need to learn more that there is no any way you are going to keep threatening black people on this land of America when each and everyone know what really happened and what they are still passing through. And yet people, when they came out to address the Asian Americans, they have this anti-blackness in them. Some people, they say, oh, you are bringing less issues, this propaganda. Now see, when we are talking about something like this, it doesn't mean we are talking about all Asians. Some of them nowadays, they are starting to understand the black people's history, black people's struggle, black people's pain and the oppression. This is the reason why these Asian people came after this Asian lady to try to correct her. You are just sitting there saying that the black people doesn't need the reparations, and you don't know anything of what really happened. If Asian Americans got the reparations, if this Japanese American got the reparations, how come? Who are you to say that black people, they always sit there lazy, looking for money for reparations, and yet they never been slaves, they never experienced slave? Why would they always sit there waiting that money? Why you don't want them to talk about their issue? If others has gotten their reparations, what is the mistake on black people? Why each and everyone yelling at them whenever they try to talk about their issues? When you try to see how a lot of people show that high level of hatred towards black people, especially on this land of America, you could ask yourself, what black Americans has done to these people? Why each and everyone is trying to fight them? Why each and everyone is not comfortable with them? Last time we talked about this issue of Asian Americans bring their businesses in the black community, and when the black Americans went to buy in their store, they started to treat them badly in a way you couldn't even understand. If you don't want these people to buy for you, why would you bring your business in their communities? If you think you are racist, you don't want to see them close to you. Who told you to bring these businesses in their communities? And yet when they come to you to buy for you, you are charging extra money. You are taking time to give them good service because you don't want them. And yet you are sitting there saying you don't understand why black Americans, they stay on this land of America. For you, because you have that opportunity to come in America, you think that you are free, have that white privilege. You are consider yourself in a white in a white community. You don't understand anything concerning people of color, and yet you don't know that you are brown people. Even white people don't want you, don't recognize you. And you think you are superior more than black people because you think that each and everyone should recognize you first. If you remember, these Asian Americans, the way the time they started to bring their kids in a white school, do you remember a lot of white people started to take back their kids in other schools, because most of them, they kept saying, we don't want our kids to grow studying with these Asian Americans. We don't want something like that. Can't you understand? Can't you at least try to feel that even these people, they don't know you? And you think that because you are like that, you look like that, you have that skin, you don't want any black close to you. You don't want anything to do with the black people. No, in this century, there is no any way. Whenever we see these Asian Americans, the time that mass deportation started, they were saying, we don't care. We come here with our own money. We don't care. They should report all those illegal migrants. And you forget, if it was for those first, your ancestors, your forefathers who came in America as a migrant, you wouldn't get this opportunity to get those visas to go and study in America. You wouldn't get this opportunity to take your businesses, your investment on this land of America. But how come could you forget this fast? And you are starting to show yourself that you are something else? You are starting to show that this land of America, after white people, it's you who should take over of each and everything. If you could at least understand in this century, black people are done of each and everything. There is no any way they are going to let you treat them any way you want. If you mess up with them, they are going to respond to you by taking anything to boycott your pocket. When they start to boycott your pocket, you start to lose black dollar. It's when you are going to understand the value of these black Americans. This time around, if you don't want to cope with them, it's okay. You will go and understand what the Target passed through, Walmart, what it passed through. It's when you understand that without these people, you can't even survive on this land of America. If you think that you are superior, you need to learn to understand that this America you are seeing right now was built on black sweat or black blood, each and everything. Black people have sacrificed a lot to make these things happening right now we are seeing. And yet for you, because you think that, oh, we grow in our society, taught us that black people, they are nothing. In Asian people, we have that anti-blackness in our community. There is nothing you can change about it. Yes, if there is no anything we can change about it, you are going to feel it. How are you going to be doing your things alone without black people? How are you going to make your business booming, going forward when there is no black investors, black customers? There is no any way. People need to learn to know how the history move on, how the history is making each and everything shaking. If you are ignore black history, I'm telling you, things are not going to work for you. No wonder when we see black people coming out to say, we are done. You need to leave us alone. If you don't have anything to do, just go and look away to do your things. Go back to your country if you don't have anything to do. There is no any way you keep treat us in the way you want. There is a lot of Asian restaurants in America. Those Karen, when you go there, they don't want you. They don't want even to greet you. They don't want even to look at you. Imagine. And you yourself, you are sitting there saying you are tired. You are tired of black people. You are tired of their excuses. If you would come on internet talking about something like this, try to imagine what they say behind closed doors when they are in their house, what they talk about black people. You remember that the Asian business investors who went in South Africa, this man has been having a lot of businesses, restaurant, luxurious restaurant. One day, they went to visit them. They found that the meat he always cook for his customers are not animal meat. Try to imagine. If those meat are not animal meat, what was kind of meat this man was cooking for his customers? And yet he knew very well he's in a black community. He don't want to feed them this ordinary meat. Sometimes when you try to see the level of hatred some people have, only God will solve all these things. Only God will send a karma, because the more you keep doing bad things, it will come after you. It's just a matter of time. Guys, let me know what you think about this episode, because it's been for so long a lot of people kept talking about these Asian Americans and their anti-blackness. This is too much. Things are getting worse. People need to educate among themselves, these Asian Americans, to let their people stopping what they are doing, because it will not help them in any way. Guys, let me know what you think of today's episode. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Thank you for watching. See you in my next episode.